Go!
Ladies and gentlemen, we are wasting no time today because today is a very special day. My name is Ben Sapsford and we are about to go trackside and witness the one, the only Nordschleife. We have got a lot of the drivers out on track already, having done their installation laps and starting to get some runs on the board. It's going to be a mad shootout, but first, let's establish some context. Apologies for the somewhat abrupt transition. There was a small technical issue in the background that we had to fix, meaning that we were a little bit squeezed on time getting to trackside. That is, however, going to mean for us there will be a lot to discuss and a very dense qualifying session to be talking about. We have 33 drivers on track today, and you may notice that it is a free-for-all. We have got drivers from all manner of different groups, all manner of different classes out here today, and that is because, especially for today, and especially for the Nordschleife, it is a half an hour shootout. There is no restrictions, no 20-minute 10x10 because of the distance and length of this track. It was only fair and reasonable that we see everyone get as much time as possible, because one mistake around here, that will set you back up to 10 minutes. You have very little chances to get a run on the boards. So that will mean you need to make every corner count. And with so many corners in such a complex circuit, it's only fair that we give the maximum chance and maximum time. White House coming through now, but 8 minutes 12 is your current fastest from Oscari Herme. And we will have quite the battle going out there tonight. Gaimar leads the Gold Championship with 93 points to Lean Blonde's 92. So the NSX being dethroned with Herme just behind, 10 points later in 82-point trim. We of course have a few more cars that are out than we are expecting usually to see. You can see the GP circuit proves to be a primer for everyone to get their tyres warmed up and then the actual quali started. In the silver, it's going to be Alex North as your leader here for the group, the number 207 Aston Martin, with John Mitchell and Radislav Visharek being your two other drivers to complete the podium here for silver. And then Craig Niesbet continues to lead for the bronze in that iconic purple McLaren. Ismakes and Gabbett complete your top three order in the red. But there is still plenty of time for drivers to prove themselves. We are coming up, of course, to the halfway point of the season here. We are right at that crossover point. So there will be some challenges and expectations being set. Time is of the essence. And the main thing here is consistency. You may think that you want to push as much time as you can. You want to be as aggressive as humanly possible. You want to get as much as you can out of these corners. But the Nürburgring is such a complex track. It's such a interesting and weaving and twisting snake of a course that it's very easy to mess up. So you need consistency above all else. A consistent, smooth lap will place you much higher than you think. You can see McNair getting an 8:19, Mitchell getting an 8-minute 30. A few more cars coming up to the line now. Here's James Payton. Go through the final complexes. There's an 8-minute 18.432 coming in from James Payton in the 248 Mercedes. Next run of cars coming through. Here's John Gabbett in the NSX. I have to say, I look at this livery, I look at this car, and I immediately think Castrol. I'm thinking the classics, say the Castrol Tom Supra from back in the day. So you've got Helge Olsen retiring out from qualifying, aborting the qualifying, so they will start at the back of the grid. Also, good to see you in chat, my friend. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for the heads up. Oh, looks like there's a Liam Blom with a bit of a deep corner run, and this will most likely be a reset per instruction. With the round tonight, drivers have been given specific guidance about how to handle the Nordschleife, so invalidating the lap in quali, making sure that you get out of the way. And then heading over to the pit lane. Let's have the field up. Let's have ourselves a good time here. Best times on the board currently coming from Oskari Herme, Peter Wolfslener, and Johan Larsson. I nearly said John. That was insulting. I'm sorry. Herme dealing with a little bit of traffic there, though. However, as there will be a Porsche currently stood in his way. That is Dave Marsh right there. So that is the number 27 of Dave Marsh, who is currently eating into the deltas of the NSX we are on board with now. As we can see, it is a little bit of top and tail. Dave Marsh is actually coming out of this brilliantly because he has got himself a hot lap here. He is, in fact, on a valid lap, so it should and must be respected. 1.8 seconds up. There will be plenty of gain from this. Jimmy Engdahl is also going to be having his day. A good run here could get him into the 13s and get him ahead of Wolfslener in particular. We've got a couple more cars coming through. Robert Homer, 16th with an 8-minute 57 time. Time is of the essence, but looks like Herme has ended up retiring out to the pit lane, so they're going to have, realistically, one more shot. Just one more shot here, and then that is their campaign over. Paul Murray is going to RTG. Got the 196 car as well. That is Peter Wolfslener. Having invalidation. And looking to jump out as well. Just seeing he's going to be firing his way down the straight. Now, when you crest up, when you come out, you can afford to keep it pinned a little bit more, but you then have to dive on the brakes very quickly for this section. You merge back in with the GP circuit. Let's see what Engdahl can secure. 816.9 becomes 813.9. And that is second position here. Will there be any matchups coming from the green Porsche behind? This is going to be Dave Marsh making his way down now. I have to say, I do wish all the drivers out here the best of luck, as there will be a gauntlet of a race circuit awaiting them. And it's going to be tough. It is a test. It is a grueling test for any driver who's worth their onions. Marsh comes through with an 816.6. No improvement on position, but a solid improvement on time. This will potentially put things in the court of some other cars, however. Peter Smith now making his way, 8:33, but could get himself to the back of John Mitchell with a very good last section of corners. Sweeping the way through here. Let's see what these racers have in store for us, as the field is going to hopefully converge in terms of time soon. We have 10 minutes left on the clock, so one major viable lap left. Peter Smith comes up to the line, 8:31. Brings himself closer to John Mitchell, but not quite enough to secure that position. Stuart Holmes up to the line. And looks like he will need another go. This is going to be his last shot here. This is Randy Zimmer. Up to task here and into an 8:27 lap time. Quality run. I'm impressed by everyone who's willing to challenge the gauntlet that is the Nordschleife. Here we go, 9:19. 8:24.8 coming in from Adam Ostrachaz. Going to place him in 13th position. It's curious that we are really seeing one major lap, potentially two, but nobody is going to be leapfrogging again and again and again like we usually see. It's that length of the course. Passing by Devil's Diner. A really nice menu. This is a track that I have a bit of an affinity with. I'm very lucky to say that I have been here, and as you naturally do as a Brit on a holiday, you do bomb it around the Nordschleife in a rental BMW 1 Series. It is the rite of passage. But it is a amazing experience, and going around the Nordschleife at least once in your life, it is mandatory as a motorsport fan. I believe that it is mandatory experience. Radislav Visharek comes through, 8:30.737. More cars making their way. Here's Jimmy Engdahl up to the line and starting his lap now, having done a GP warm-up lap. There's going to be John Mitchell coming up as well, 8:27.3 to beat. Can he do it? 8:28.0. Not quite, I'm afraid. Peyton trying to beat a 16.6. Will it be enough to jump up for him? It's a 17.6, so again, making proximity but not making position. That's going to be the story for a lot of qualifiers here. See how Morrison is handling this. So I think he's going for one more lap as he comes up to the line. Oh, 8:46.322. Telemetry didn't quite pick up on that. So nice run into P20. This is going to be Guillemard. 5th on the boards, but with a chance to make a major splash. Remember, even just a second ahead can jump him up into P3. 8:15.742 for Guillemard there. So still in P5, but I think this is going to be where he really sets that track alight. Alex North. Silver lead. Time to see what he's got in the tank. It's a 27.5, 16th position on the track. Colin McNair, top 10. 8:19.125. 8:18 becomes, and into P8. It's just going to leapfrog certain Thomas Leonatus. Well-known racer around these parts for his distinctive Audi. Dan Whitehouse going for another shot. His previous run did not count as a valid lap. The many drivers, in fact, not really get a chance to set a lap here. As Whitehouse, though, 8:25.677. That's enough for P14. And we will, of course, get the full standings for the groups in a short moment. Let's switch over to them now. See the timings that come up. So here is Lindblom. Uncharacteristic of him not to have a lap on the board by this time. Let's see what the king of last season has to say for himself here at Nords. Lindblom up to the line. Remember, he needs to get himself into the 8:15s at least. 8:12.627, a single tenth behind Hermé. So there is a bit of a rivalry certainly going to be brewing there. Two NSXs this close in the standings. Ask him for trouble. Going to be Robert Homer coming up to the line now. Looks like the other car that was in front of him is tailing off. 8:48.062. 24th position. Hermé, though, coming up to the line. Will there be any improvements here from the Minecraft-adorned NSX? Looks like it's just going to come across the line, but no change. North once again across. Going for another go. Johan Larsson now coming up to the line also. Going to be P5 right now. Will there be anything in the tank here? It's 8:22. Unfortunately, not the lap to be. The number 331, Craig Niesbet coming through now. A swish around the chicanes and a bounce of the curbs. It's up to the line. What will Niesbet do? Got a title to defend for his group, and it's going to be third in class. It's going to be a 8:33, tailed by Peter Smith's 8:31. We have many others now trying to leave their mark. Some racers are currently right in the thick of it. Others may be coming out the other side. is going to be Hebert, the number 28, 8:19.967. 11th position right now, and leader of silver in qualifying. We have seen this tale be read before. Qualifying and a race, two very different beasts. Who has got it in them to make a last-minute splash? Here's Trickett. Oh, Hamby, no, you can see in the chat, say 3 seconds up, running out of fuel, and then lost concentration. Brutal. Honestly, brutal stuff. Trickett comes through, 24th position, 8:40. But yeah, there is a lot of pressure here, and say Justin saying that Johan had some front-end damage. Oh, that is a problem. Of course, that's not going to be playing in his favour at all. Is Damien Reed in the Lexus? This may be a little bit too British of me, but I can't help but look at the colours and think something like the refreshers, the sweet we have in the UK. Refreshers, or it's the what are they called? What are they called? Tip of my tongue. Either way, a certain sweet that has a very same colour palette. I can't help but think of those when I see this car. But sweet and sharp. Oh, rhubarb and custard. Yeah, that too. That too. Wasn't what I was going for, but a perfectly apt description. And points for the drift. Either way, Reed is showing that he can be sharp and sweet with an 8:20. He's 12th position right now, and looking fast, 11th out of the golds. Is Marsh coming through 8:15.5, so solid run there. Qualifying has officially come to a close, ladies and gentlemen, and with that, most of the drivers are already in the pits. Many opting, in fact, to forego qualifying in its entirety and just focus on getting the right mental state for the race and readying themselves up. So we have Rich Arscombe, Stuart Holmes, Helge Olsen, Michael Ball, Rog Dismukes and Richard Colomb, who have not set any times on the board. Although we have Dismukes on the track currently, it is going to be last finishers now making their way across. Cannot emphasize enough the importance of, we've said it once already, but consistency. You will not get anywhere over driving the car in this field. There will not be any room for error, especially on such a dangerous and tightly woven circuit as this one. The main thing here is you will have a lot to juggle in that first lap of the race. Once you get past that first lap, you will have a much easier time. Ooh, unfortunate there, Guillemot just throwing it in literally the final corner. That's a brutal end. Sad to say, will not be getting that improvement he so desired. 8:16.7 was his last valid lap, and that is how it shall stay, with a 15.7 time holding him in P7. Is Dan Whitehouse next driver along the field? Has got a bit of a chance to prove himself here, with a 8:25, even just a second, will put him ahead of Ostrachaz, who we know is a proven talent from Silver last season. A nice sweep. You can see 270 to 280 kilometers per hour The aero is going to be a big factor here. We have seen some cars teeter around that limit. I'm going faster than the others. The VMAX, of course, will dictate your overtaking ability in that section of the track, but at what cost? Looks like Whitehouse, though, is going to be retiring out to the pit lane. It's not going to be the lap that he so desired. And Hermé is the one who is next up to take a swing. He's already in pole. He's got 12.520. Lindblom only managed a 0.627. Hermé currently stands as the pole position holder. Unless Johan Larsson wants to throw a spanner in the works, of course. Big run. Good move here. And we'll see the VMAX of the NSX, or at least in Hermé trim. 272 and climbing 275, even cresting over. Just keeping it very high. You see a little bit more as we come down the hill, sweep down to the left. Touching 280, 281 before having to eventually dive on the brakes as we head back up the hill now. Really elongating a couple of those gears. Being able to power and hold the line with the throttle on. Let's see Hermé getting an 11. Hang on. Yellow sector 3, but an 11.362. What rocket fuel is in that NSX? That was a brilliant showing. And that was with a yellow sector 3? That is amazing stuff. North also getting an improvement of his own. Green across the board and a 26.665. So he's going to be holding himself strong. P3 out of the silvers. They're going to be Rog. One of the 6 drivers yet to set a time, but will be the last one to get a initial lap down. So he's making his way through now. See, slightly lower VMAX for the Porsche, and arguably a tough car to drive in these conditions. You will experience a little bit of bumping, and slip angle can quickly become sliding out. He's not careful. Hopefully he's rigged that thing to be a little bit more stable underneath him. Playing it safe in your setups is never a bad thing. We've got a 9-minute .060. And that is in 28th position on the board. So good job, mate. Well done. Well crafted. And now making their way through finally is going to be Damien Reed and Anthony Hebert. Last 2 cars making their way around. And now to see who has the moxie, who has the speed. Just taking a moment to observe the lap right here, coming out of Reed. He's keeping his composure, he's keeping his calm. Run. Reed is actually really making up some serious time here. He could potentially launch himself up a couple of places, get himself into the top 10 if he feels so inclined. Up to the line now, is up on the deltas, 818.720. So close to Linatus there. Unfortunately, not quite. And Heber is going to launch himself up into P9. Oh, really excellent stuff coming from him there. And with that now, we have our order. So, we won't get the time of the full luxury of a quali formation lap, sorry. So, we will take the tour now, rather than take the standard grid walk than we are maybe used to. It's Oskari Herme in first position for the golds, following closely with David Leenblom, Jimmy Engdahl in third place, and completing your podium for the golds. Completing the rest of the order for the gold side of things is Peter Wolfslener to finish row 2, Johan Larsson and Dave Marsh to finish row 3, Gayamar and Peyton in 7th and 8th for row 4, Hebert and McNair then complete your top 10, with Hebert being the leader of silver and really knowing how to impress. Next closest time being Paul Murray, a whole 6 seconds away. Linatus is going to be in your P11 spot with 12, and completing the 6th row going to Damien Reed with a last-minute surge. Hamby and Murray, who is second place for silver, is going to complete row 7 with Ostrishars and Whitehouse, believe being some of the last gold class runners and completions from that side of the order. Third place in the silver is going to go to Alex North, and then following that you have Iro Pasuri, Randy Zimmer, and John Mitchell to take us to P20. Radislav Visharek, in a sort of uncharacteristic drop slightly from previous rounds, is currently in P21 and I believe 7th in the order for silver, but they are closely followed by Peter Smith, who takes the crowning spot out of bronze here in this session. We have got John Gabbett and Craig Niesbet closely following behind in 2nd and 3rd, with Andy Triggett in P25 and 4th for the bronze order. To finish things off, we have Craig Morrison and Robert Heimer, along with Rog Dismukes, Rich Arscombe and Stuart Holmes to take us to 30, followed finally by Helge Olsen, Michael Ball and Richard Kilom. That is where the order subsides, and that is where our race is set to begin. So you know the rules by this point, folks. It is a 60-minute race. There is one mandatory pit stop, and this is going to be, I have zero doubt in my mind that this will be a test, a Herculean test of our racers. There is no such thing . There is no such thing as compromise. You have to come in here with everything. Bringing your A game is an absolute must. Not accept anything less. We are just waiting final confirmation and seeing exactly how we are going to proceed. Looks like there will be a formation. Just getting the exact confirm on the procedure, but let's go with our drivers and let's go track side for the full order. As you can hear, the racers are getting moving now. Of course, good luck to all the drivers, goes without saying. I cannot wait to see who takes the crowning spot from here. What will this mean for our racers as the formation is underway? See everyone slowing right down. As things are getting underway, you can see a couple of drivers who are opting to weave, dart around a little bit, just get themselves into ship shape. I see a bit of a livery change here for a certain Paul Hamby. Most curious. Most curious indeed. Change of palette, much? Either way, I do love it. A very nice design. See what the future holds. As the racers are now priming. Slowly arcing their way around the GP circuit. The atmosphere, tense. The race is fired up. Who will take the crown? Also, it's good to see some of the drivers in the chat, as well as drivers who are unfortunately unable to make it today to the track, joining us in the chat, having a bit of fun, and enjoying the racing that is about to unfold. Looks like we are getting a bit of a reset. And we are just understanding exactly what's going on here. So it looks like we will have to go to a short technical intermission as we see exactly what is happening. We'll be right back with you in a moment, folks. We're just going to hop out for the moment, and then we'll bring you back in once we have the confirmation this is, in fact, the race that is going ahead.
go! Three, two, one, go!
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. And with a bit of an interesting scenario. So first off, apologies for the slight intermission. We had to end up resetting the race weekend in its entirety. Meaning that there has, as you can see, been a little bit of a shake-up to the starting order. Hopefully that is going to produce some interesting racing moments for us here at the broadcast and here at home. Minor shake-ups as a result of having to reset the race weekend, skip straight to the race, and resolve the formation lap issue. So in about a minute's time, we will be going through and seeing our drivers once more. We are down to 32 cars. Unfortunately, we did lose one in the process of the bug resolution. Slight losses there, but we will still have some good racing on our hands. And I, for one, am pretty excited, all things considered. It's going to be a bit of a push, as the field is going to, of course, be trying to fight each other to get back to their original positions, especially if they were ahead prior. Let's see who is going to be one of the top runners out of especially this first lap.
10 seconds.
Like we were saying before, that first lap is going to be chaos. But once you have established a foothold and found your own space in the track, you're going to be just fine. The session is officially underway. 60 minutes to race and 60 minutes of chaos potentially ensuing. You've got the GP circuit section, remember, before you get on to the iconic Nordschleife. Going side by side in particular is going to be a challenge. As there will be plenty of opportunities to mess up. There is also eager chances to rise. But best of luck to all of the drivers. And we hope for a expedient start to your races. Time to get fired up. As Linatus is going to drop back, but there you go, as they go. And it looks like a rough start from Linatus. It's going to be immediate game of leapfrog, having to push back on his position against Wolfslander, but really having his head in the game, as there's a good placement there from Wolf. Selena, Linatus just going a bit too deep there. Not quite going to have the run through there, losing to Wolfslander and Gaimar both. A little bit of dust clouds puffing up as there is chaos in the midsection of the course. There is a lot of chopping and changing in terms of position. We have got Colomb already into the pits, and we're seeing exactly what is happening, as there have been a couple of collision warnings up and around too. Lawson and Murray running close. We will see Linatus drop now behind Dave Marsh. And Jimmy Engdahl is a quick runner, able to already peel out a second on the 196 Mustang. Knair getting past Hebert with a very nice move. And Lindblom is now on the Crusade. If anyone's going to be mad about this change-up, it's going to be Lindblom. He's come from P15, I believe. Starting in P15 and now making his way up into the bigger sections. Oh no, scratch that. He was in the 20s, so even further behind. We are back up to 33 cars as well, as Colomb is going to be in 33rd. See Arscombe trying to chase by on Dan Whitehouse. John Mitchell will having a squabble, getting eventually past Hiro. But now we get on to the green hell itself. The Nordschleife beckons, the Nordschleife awaits. And this is where things can get very interesting indeed. Lindblom getting past Paul Murray and jumping ahead of McNair just moments ago. The word that Lindblom is looking for is momentum. Getting some early momentum will result in a much faster and cleaner race up to the pack and to the lead. Already in P11, challenging on the cusp of P10. Murray and McNair both are squabbling for positions. We do have a local yellow flag coming out. That's with the number 97 car. That is Michael Bull. But if we wind the clocks back just a little bit, we can review the accident that occurred between the number 848 and number 90 car. This was back at the start of the race. So this is Paul Murray on the inside. He's going to come up onto the side of Johan Larsson. Little bit of fighting back and forth. Looks like a couple of contacts here and there. And a little bit of a wider excursion on the course, but no major casualties, luckily. Yellow flag coming out for another car. This time it's going to be Andy Trickett, who has spun out in the opening section of the Nordschleife. And it looks like a bit of a problem here for Gabbert and Diesmukes. Let's see exactly what happened. Let's turn back the clocks. So you can see we're on board with Gabbert right now, chasing the Porsche down, looking for any chance that he could get, even flashing the lights just ever so slightly. Sends it down the inside, tapping the Porsche, both of them collecting each other. And that is an unfortunate way to end that battle. Not even 5 minutes in, and we've already had several instances and a couple of collections. I think you can chalk that mostly down to drivers not really having the full formation lap time, because you have a much shorter formation in the Nordschleife compared to other circuits. So while it's good for us being able to quickly pick up the race, cold tyres, cold brakes, drivers not necessarily in the zone, it's all going to be against them there. So Lindblom has taken to this well, and he's continuing his surge upwards. Nisbet is into the pits. Let's see exactly what happened. Remember, this is leader of bronze, Craig Nisbet, right now. We're going to see exactly what led to him retiring out in the pit lane. And, oh, monster hit into the wall there, into the barrier. Just like that, he's out of it. We're going to see some squabbling much further up, as well as there is Paul Murray, John Mitchell, Surrey, all. And we are down to 31 cars. We have lost 2 drivers in the process of this session already. 5 minutes in, 2 drivers down. A tight gaggle of cars here. Meanwhile, Mitchell flanked on either side. Visuri sweeping left, sweeping right, looking for a chance to move, a chance to breathe. Any angle that he could get at that position from is fair game. Well, Mitchell trying to catch onto Randy Zimmer. This is in fact going to bring Ostrachars into the fold in the BMW. So this will very quickly become quite the scrap. I am rather impressed by Jimmy Engdahl being able to pull out 3 seconds of time to Peter Wolfslener up at the front of the field, and then Guillemard for keeping that proximity. But now we are going to soon be coming up to the last crucial sectors. Things get a bit twisty, but then you hit that VMAX section, that back straight. You want to set up an overtake, there is your chance, there is your time. Verme, P4 right now. Started in P11 on this grid. Of course, was our leader out of qualifying. So certainly not a major concern for him, as he's made up a lot of time, but still not where he wants to be. There'll be a lot of pressure on him. So we have Had a bit of a moment reported. A bit of an incident, say Randy Zimmer getting a bit of a collision, a bit of contact. Let's jump on board with a helicopter. Actually, no, let's jump on board with the TB cams. Doesn't look like we quite see there. Zimmer with Mitchell behind. Bit of jostling and fighting. See, he's having to defend hard. As there was a brief moment of contact. And coming back to this mid-pack brawl. Fight for effectively P15 as Zimmer awaits slightly further adrift. Hero is looking like a hungry Porsche. Mitchell and his targets. Smooth run there, although a little bit of a rearward kick on the axle on the exit. Also see further up, this is going to be, as we head down the back straight, this is going to be Lindblom going for not one, but two overtakes. Really stretching the VMAX of that NSX, using a bit of slipstream, anything that he can get, but that Mustang does really have quite the straight line speed. Slipstream will not save you. It's 285 coming out. Slipstream assisted. VMAX for the NSX there. That's a dicey moment. Looks like we've had a coming together as the 848 and 84 car. That's exactly what happened. So this is Hamby's perspective. He was ahead of McNair and coming into the back straight. Looks like something may have happened here. Getting a bit of slipstream. A bit of bump drafting. And no, it looks like that. So misreport there. Bit of bump drafting is all that was. Mitchell losing a lot of time. Hero has got himself up ahead and onto the back of Zimmer. Lindblom in P9 too. Still on the back of Johan Larsson, coming out that back straight. It's not going to phase him. Into the GP section of the track once more. Very impressed in the driver's ability to recover here. Looks like Randy Zimmer has dropped down behind Hiro and behind Mitchell. Key mistake there coming from the orange Ferrari. He's going briefly off track. Lex North is going to come up on his left. He's going to retain position. Fighting across. There's going to be Peter Smith dropping down for him there. Light contact. Looking through the field, 31 cars strong, and this is exactly what we were saying about that first lap. I mean, look at Lindblom, 12 positions up, in close quarters with fellow racers, but having made a ton of progress in a very short amount of time, he's set himself up very nicely for the rest of this session. We've had some winners, we've had some losers. Let's see how this shakes out. Craig Morrison, for example, in a pocket of his own, so while he is technically down from a start, he has still got a lot left to give. And more importantly, is able to run his race unencumbered. And be getting a brief overtake by Anthony Hebert. And then we might even see the same further away as North has got Mitchell on his front and Ostrishars on his rear. It's the tens. It's the tens in terms of positions. That's where the fire seems to be. Sees North right to the back of John Mitchell now. Carving his way through the green hell. Be careful as the apex and the chicane suddenly tightens up. Moderate your speed and you will come out just fine. You might even see some movements up at the sharper end as well, as Guillemard is onto the back of Peter Wolfslanner. There is not going to be anything held back. Wolfpack they may be, but competitors on the track, they are still. Ed Larson, now Lindblom is hunting to the back of Damien Reed. Session will be an interesting one. As we will potentially see pit stops come to play a bit of a factor too. There's McNair on the back of Payton trying to get into the top 10, even skirting onto the grass at points. Lindblom is still trying to chase Reed down, but here comes McNair, very confident in that Nismo. He's going all the way into the grass, two-wheeling it, really holding the speed. That is a commitment of a corner. I'm very impressed. That was certainly something. That could have gone either way. That could have ended horribly. And even see that things are getting more chaotic on the track as it continues to evolve. Jump on board with the heli. See a couple of static cars. Curiously, it looks like Nisbet is back out on the track. Albeit a lap down, has remained committed. So there will be moments where we just take a second to observe the racing taking place. I don't view the Nordschleife in the same way we do a traditional circuit. I don't think it's fair to. With how large and how varied of a surface it is, I think it's better to view it as a trial. With typical race circuits, you can learn the track and you can refine and hone it, and you can expect a high level of consistency, bordering on mastering some sections. The Nordschleife is going to offer no such luxury. Now, of course, with enough time, you can fully learn and master any track. But the sheer scale and volume and variation of this circuit means that there will always be a reactionary element. There will always be a situation where you are caught off guard and you are forced to act instinctively, react quickly, and adapt with poise. We are Lindblom right now. He got past Reed earlier, and now Lenatus as he heads through that back straight. And of course, that being the point where we see most of our overtakes bound to happen. Lenatus is going to keep proximity out of that final section. A little bit of a network wobble coming in there for multiple of our drivers. session is going to be mighty quick. It's North on the back of Mitchell. Of course, being multiple seconds ahead and trying to close that door. Doesn't want to give anyone an opportunity now that he's got that position. The opportunity can strike. Nordschleife going for the overtake, coming out of the final and into the start-finish line. And he's even going for a bit of an attack on John Mitchell, although that hasn't quite come to pass. Got caught off guard and with a poor line. That's going to serve as a bit of a damage. His otherwise clean run. 20 minutes and 2 laps deep. Currently stand with a fairly static order. Although we have got Johan Larsson making a big off into the grass. Which will mean a drop in position. McNair capitalises on the opportunity. Payton as well could be another driver to watch. Kept things fairly silent. We know he's got the pace. Something has occurred, however. Oh, okay, something has indeed occurred. What has happened here to Mr. Lindblom? Was on such strong momentum. Remember, ahead of Linatas, so was technically in P6. What happened? Oh no, just losing it in the chicane. Too much, overcooked it. And just like that, you're losing multiple positions. You saw there was Reed, there was McNair, Larson, Payton as well. Lindblom now residing in P13, but I don't think it's an insurmountable gap for him. One that is going to really prove to be a sharp competitor. It's Oskari Herme, he's going for it. Out on the right side, on the Nismo's flank. A well-executed overtake. Engdahl all of a sudden being caught in the weeds as Herme posted a lap 3.5 seconds ahead of Engdahl's previous. Has the pace and the wherewithal to take it. Commanding the respect on track. Gotta be there for it. We might even see some drivers follow in those footsteps. As we do have a... Oh, hello, that's Peter Wolfslener into the grass. And Gaimar now taking the position. Bit of a turn of events there, much. As things chaotically rise in tension. Mitchell making serious contact with Alex North. It will be a change in spots. Even Whitehouse getting a bit of an opportunity out of that one. Scary times. There's some in the middle. See Arscombe dropping a spot to Robert Homer with a poor line down the inside. North as well is conceding a position back to John Mitchell. As we did have the incident between the two, and oh, Alex North, 4 wheels on the grass. Can he recover it? Barely. I wonder if he's got any lasting damage from that altercation. That could be a major death nail for his race effort. If you get damage around the Nordschleife, you can say goodbye to any good position. Any good result is effectively off the table. You're going to be limping with that damage for so long. And even returning to the pit lane is only considered a worst case scenario. Because of the amount of time and position you lose. You return to pit. In other areas, you miss a couple of laps. While at the same time, you go out in the Nordschleife, you are losing a lot more. It's not easily recoverable in the same way. we'll see many continue to strike a challenge. Even at the sharp end of the field, where you would expect some drivers to be peeling away, nobody has got that significant of a gap. We aren't seeing any gaps bigger than around 5 seconds until you get to the likes of Lindblom. This mid-pack is going to be where it's at, though. Continuing all the way down, a little bit of blurring, and a bit of smoke and dust getting kicked. Time to show what, if you're as a driver, what you're really made of. And if nothing else, the resilience speaks of volumes. I mean, I look at Nisbet lap down and still continuing. That is resilience right there, and that is a commendable trait. In the face of adversity, you still continue to push forward. You have Hebert here right now, trying to chase on James Payton for the top 10 spot, but already has the lead of silver. It's not like they're exactly strapped for points or position. He's going to be in quite a fun position indeed. We'll see Wolfslener and Gayamar continue to trade blows. This time Wolfslener is going to be the one ahead. McNair as well could be challenging on Damien Reed and trying to catch up to some of these others. Wobble coming out from this Mustang. Wonder if there is a technical issue. The way they come into the back straight. Chance to open the taps. Similar story. McNair, Larson, Reed. They're all here right now. And one of them is going to have to get very defensive. Reed going 2 wheels onto the grass. Trying to take a bit of deterrence. Trying to see what they can get away with, really. Going to be Hebert on the inside of James Payton, drag racing each other down that final sector. We head now into lap 3 with Hermé and Engdahl crossing the line. It will be next couple of laps coming in soon. And with the time being of the essence, you can see just in the background that there is Lindblom into the pits. Robert Homer and Richard Colomb have gone in too, along with Craig Morrison, who will soon be finishing their pit stop up most likely. This is going to be one of the 2, maybe 3 laps where drivers go into pit. Any further, then you run serious risk of not making it home. There are points on the line. Serious points on the line. And an unexpected benefit maybe for some is that in lieu of their competitor's absence, there will be a chance for making up of points relative to your rivals, even if your position to finish isn't the best. See a couple of yellow flags coming out for certain cars, so let's wind the clocks back and see exactly what's going on here. First off, we're going to have a look at Dave Marsh. He's just had an incident report come through. Making his way down to the chicane with the GP layout. Oh, okay. Guess nothing happened. Let's have a look at our next competitor. Is Richard Colomb, E28. Out into the Nordschleife section and 2 wheels on the grass. Four wheels. But still holding it together. So local yellow's coming out for that. We'll see who has final shot. Looks like good battling here between these two. Although again, I'm trying to get on to the carousel and not being allowed, being shown the door. Halfway stage and hunting for gold. These fighters end up. Say in the face of a war of attrition, having this session play out in the way it has been a very rewarding viewing experience. I'm going to see a couple of drivers consider their options, how to proceed forward. They're down now to 30 racers. Well, and we will have a couple of battles either waiting in the wings or about to be sprung like a trap. White House on the back of Ostrachaz. Larson is also going to be on the hunt, this time on the back of Damien Reed. There'll be plenty of fight left in this roster, even though we are coming up to the halfway point and we still have a lot of Nordschleife to go. Time to fire things up. Smooth it going. And things have hit a place of relative calm. Now, this is the other half of the Nordschleife experience. It's a big track. Oh, big wobble there from KMR. It is a big track. And this means that you do get a lot of displacement around the course. Nobody is going to be next to another car for long. And there will be chances on the table. Looks like we have got a bit of an overtake that we just want to bear witness to one more time. So Larson chasing on Reed for a while now. And looks like it was just purely on the fact that Reed missed out on the inner line. Nicely done there, well capitalised from Larson. So this is where we do have now a session of nearly hot lapping. As drivers, short of a couple, will be making their way through. And will be pushing to just find time. Their opponent is not necessarily a racer, their opponent is the clock. Let's see, will we have any combat between racers? We have got Hebert, who is on the chase with Damien Reed. Looks like we have a problem with Dan Whitehouse. Something's gone wrong there. Let's see what's happened here. Whitehouse returning to the pit lane. Let's see, on board with the TV. Oh, big. Oh, ouch. What a hit. Multi-hit. On the front and the back. That car is going to be surely compromised. No wonder he's gone back to the pits near immediately. So we have many heading into the pits though. Hermé, Engdahl both. Wolfslener, Guillemard. Most likely we're going to see the others. Here is Marsh, here is Linatus. McNair into the pits, Larson too. Reed, Hebert. They're all going to be jumping in. This is odd. Wait, what happened? I think Hamby might have looked at the other pit lane. I'm not sure what happened there, to be honest. Seems like he just stopped on track. Just came to a standstill. I think he looked for the other pit lane. There we are, though. Many, many drivers heading in. In fact, the only one staying out for the most part, with many others heading in, is going to be Iro. Iro is going to have a chance to get a bit of a break and a bit of a clean slate here. Hermé's 2.1 seconds ahead of Engdahl, so holding on. Just observing. Taking in the sights, the sounds. Sadly not the smells. But even so. Time to have our cake and race it too. Gonna be Olsen now into the pit. Along with many others who have yet to do so. It'll be Roger Dismiquez, one of the last yet to come in, and so fulfills the prophecy. Olsen coming through now. Although it doesn't seem to be indicating that they are in the pits. At least according to the data that we are receiving. Just going to wait for that exact confirmation. Interesting. Not sure what's happening there, but we will check back in with them momentarily. see who is going to be making a challenge coming out of the pit lane here. Randy Zimmer. Down a couple. Looks like Zimmer's not going to be letting Pete Smith let this one go. Going to let it go easily. Looks like Zimmer is not here to mess. He wants those positions. He wants the time gained. And this is where it's going to matter. Looks like Olsen's hit has finally registered now. Not sure what happened there. A bit of a technical issue. They turned the engine off, needed to stop to restart, and then got an SG30. Ouch! That is well and truly game over. Sorry to hear it, Hamby. Sorry to hear it, bud. Yeah, that is going to be a brutal end to your race. And we are down to 28 cars at this point. Looks like we have had a major issue. Herme is around. Engdahl's going to be making a pass. We're going to need a bit of a replay on what happened there. Yellow flag coming out for the Minecraft NSX. See, pushing down the hill. Bit of a slide, bit of a kick on the curbs, and yeesh. Luckily, though, for the most part, keeping it out of the walls. Doesn't look like he's too affected by damage either. Or at least it didn't seem like as hard of a hit. Still. Impressive to see who is still pushing forward even after the mistake like that, and who is feeling the pressure of it. I mean, Lindblom right now still pushing forward, getting himself up to P12 and recovering from his earlier mistake. On the side of Peyton now. Good run on the right. Smooth move. Making his way through there now. Lindblom now on the hunt for the next position. It's going to be Hebert. He's really held his own. 20 minutes remain. Olsen in the pits for an extended period of time, it looks like. So I'll have to check in with them as the session progresses. To its final stages soon. We've got about 3 more laps on the clock. McNair hunting for Marsh's spot now. A seek. Seeking of space. It's keeping about a second here. My question is, where is he going to come out at the end of the straight? He can get himself a good run. And get himself a good run through here. You've got yourself a healthy spot and position. McNair on the hunt. Use the slipstream. Getting a little bit of a run. That's 280. Marsh is still right there. It's not like he's out of the woods yet, but he's got the spot. He's up in 6th. Could even start to try and reel in the likes of Engdahl or Ulfslener, Hermé, etc. Vissery heading into the pits. Ulfslener is going to inherit P2 with Hermé in P3. Of course, the 169 NSX will be feeling the strain. I'm feeling the weight of their previous mishap weighing down on them. Here's going to be Johan Larsson, who they themselves in a similar spot, having to fight back to their previous glory in the previous space on the track. No rest for these racers. With a lot of laps locking around the 8-minute 20 to 8-minute 30 mark. We will be having 2 to 3 laps left. In fact, there will be 3 laps left by my count. Herbert is going to be very close to Liam Blom as he has been overtaken. I wonder if Herbert could use Liam Blom as a bit of a tow at points. Just has to stay in proximity. I've seen this silver driver carry a ton of pace at times. Let's jump around a little bit, see who we have around the course. Wolfslener's had a bit of an up and down session. Had a couple of times where he's gone off the track and had to recover himself. Well, I'm seeing the drivers looking at their current situation and trying to make a judgment where they want to land. Say this a couple of times here in the season, but at a certain point, drivers have to decide whether they want to push and fight for a position or lock in the one they have to maximize points in a safe return. I mean, some drivers have completely got their run of the circuit. I mean, look at, for example, Herbert. 11th place, and you think, okay, 2 positions ahead of Murray. That's not the massive gap that they were maybe looking for. 30 seconds. Plus the gap to Peyton. So 35 seconds between Herbert and Murray. Meaning they can drive safe and not have to worry about who is coming for them. Because they've got the time and space to spare. I mean, you look at someone like Smith as well. They've got John Gabbert, who is nearly an entire minute behind. Dollar racers, of course, in their own pockets of the circuit, and got a massive gap that they would have to eventually overcome. I think Nisbet's Delta is completely going off the rails. But there will be Question marks for some. But others a fairly set slam dunk of a race. I think most of the drivers are going to fall into that certain category. It looks like Olsen is not returning to the track. So, 27 finishers of 33 starters. You can see jumping up in the chat. Crossed the pit line at 110 and got DQ'd. Unfortunate, mate. Sorry to hear. Getting DQ'd for that one. Never mind. We reset, recharge, go again. The second half of the season. See who is going to be crowned. Staying in the pit for the honour and immersion. I respect that. I respect that fully. Liam Blom into the single digits now, taking past Damien Reed. Making up a very impressive time. 8 minute 13.235. Second fastest lap of the session. Only beaten out by Oscari Herme in the NSX. However, he's got his own challenges ahead of him, I think. He's got 3.3 seconds to make it back to Engdahl. And he's got about 2 laps to do it. Season of seniors. I've got to say, this has been a very interesting first half of the season. We've got a lot to look forward to in the rest as well. Don't forget, we have got a small break, so after this week, we will have a break week. And then when we return, we will be heading to Italy for a double header. We're going to have Monza and then Imola, keeping it regional, followed by Barcelona, Paul Ricard and Suzuka to finish in July. So there is still plenty left in this season, plenty left in the tank. And as far as I'm concerned, we've got a lot of racing still to do, folks. Looks like we have got an issue for Nisbet. Yellow flag's being called. Let's take a review of the incident and see exactly how it transpired. So hopping over the curbs just a bit. Seems fairly fine and straightforward. It's that curb jump that is the major one. Losing control in a big way. Almost kicking up onto the air and seriously damaging their rear wing. That's going to affect the speed even more. Looks like Herme has made up some time. Made up about a second in the course of the last 5 minutes. There will be chances to fight. Potentially, if Engdahl makes a mistake, he's going to be brought right back into that NSX's clutches. Simultaneously, is James Payton trying to chase Hebert down. Mercedes AMG kind of speeds is going to be pushing under the footbridge. And it's sweeping down to the left side. That's not going to take that one lying down, I imagine, but a decisive overtake in the final sector of the lap. A couple of local yellows coming out. Craig Nisbet once again triggering. Looks like he's fighting with that car. I mean, look at that crooked rear wing. The guy would have sustained serious damage there, and I do feel for him. Struggling. Practically going to limp the car home. Is someone with a quiet race? Ask him. An honest race. No major frills, no fuss. Just powering on through. Neesbet's got to take that car into the pits, though. There you go. He's going to RTG. And just like that, that is the session done by the looks of it, unless they want to pit in and go for one more shot, one more lap, and take it across the line. Final runs for many, as they may not get a chance to go round again after the interval for the leaders. He's dropped down about 2.5 seconds. Going to take a lot of strength and fortitude to bring this session home. But I commend all the drivers that have stuck it out tonight. They've kept strong, they stuck to their guns. Oh, poor. Run out of that one for Zimmer. I gotta say, it is crazy looking at that track map. The scale of the GP circuit relative to the Nordschleife, it really does put into perspective just how big of a circuit this place is. How big the green hell is here. Looks like a wobbly one for Rog there. Let's see just what happened to cause him to be sideways. So out of the second carousel. Like just a bit too much onto the outside and sliding themselves out. Rough innings for him there.
Alright man, the leader is on the final lap. Give it a final push.
The final push, you heard it here. It hasn't been confirmed. This is in fact going to be the final lap. So 6 laps of racing later, we are going to crown a winner here. Cold beer and... ooh, very nice. Very nice indeed. Very impressed. Hayton is going to head into that pit lane. And is going to potentially be seeing things out, but... as we have the sunsets and the rays beaming down, it could be a fight to decide at the very end. .2 seconds away, Oscari Herme doing his utmost to close the door. Close the gap. Bring him in. Get some aggression going. We will have a fight on our hands, as I think we have got ourselves a bona fide force to be reckoned with in the form of Herme and Engdahl. 2 major racers. Something special could be brewing. We did see John Mitchell briefly flagging up as a yellow. Curious to see what that is, but just seeing where we can have racers really come together Wolfslener is under the same kind of pressure. Guillemot half a second away. A little bit closer than Hermé. As they make their way down, last couple of sections. Got the lead in, then the back straight and the final push. Final couple of corners before we cross that start-finish line. Will Hermé get the chance? Will he be able to get close enough and fight for his win? Or will it be Engdahl's success and consistency that brings it all together? Is Hermé closing in? A bit of a wobble as he goes down and crests back up. Oh, he's pushing for it. Oh, he's so pushing for it. Look how close that these two are running. Now trying to deviate, get some better lines going. Up and over. To ride that banked section. Give it your all. And Larson having a major off into the wall, and oh no, that's going to be them completely knackered. Marsh and Lindblom both easily sweeping by, but he's looking like a wounded racer, and a racer returning to the pits. Here's going to be Hermé trying his best to close up. Lindblom is going to get ahead of Linatos and Reed, of course. Stay there in P7. Could even be going on Dave Marsh. Hermé's going to close in, but is it enough? Is it enough, and are they going to go for it? When push comes to shove. No, it will not. Racing respect being shown, of course. And it coming up to the final stretch. Still separated by tenths, even after all this. Engdahl crosses that finish line. And, wait, hang on, I'm a little bit confused here. Didn't they call, did Race Control call that this was going to be the final lap? I guess not. We're going to go for one more. Looks like we're going one more time, folks. One more time. Apologies for that misread. Threw off by Race Control. Looks like there is still yet a fight in these two and the fight in others, as we are going to be down to 23 cars on the circuit with Michael Ball, Helge Olsen and Craig Niesbet into the pits. MR on the back of Wolfslener, Hermé on the back of Engdahl, Lindblom chasing Dave Marsh, and barring McNair, everyone in the top end is fighting tooth and nail for what positions they can hold. So there will be a couple of chops and changes before the session is out. The clock has fully elapsed though at this point, so the leaders will affirmatively finish the race this stage. See, will Engdahl be able to hold the defensive long enough? Keep Hermé at bay. Of course, how hungry he is for the win, for the position. There will be nothing left open to chance. See, Guillemot peeking onto the left of Wolfslener. Tight run there. First section of the Nordschleife part of the track. Rough innings. Ups and downs for both. Hermé still trying to close in, half a second to Engdahl. 141 car. Causing a couple of yellows. That's going to be Randy Zimmer. Stuart Holmes as well is going to be completely round. Luckily, getting a quick recovery, but Zimmer's into the pit. Not good. So Zimmer will inevitably drop down. Comes Lindblom. trying to sneak an attack. Actually skirting fairly wide and losing a couple of tenths. We even see Gaimar and Wolfslener continue to duke it out too. No substitute for raw racing. Ooh, unfortunate there. A big hit. A big hit. Coming in from it, Gaimar there. He's going to limp his car back. Anyway, just want to see that one more time, see exactly how that played out. So, making a way through. How's it going to be from Wolfslener's perspective? So you're just trying to chase for it, bumping the curb, hitting the wall, and there you go. That's it. That's all she wrote. Gaimar into the pits. And Gaimar effectively out. Erme is going to get real close and personal with Engdahl's rear bumper. Seriously, because of all this, this is going to give Lindblom effectively a top 5 finish if he can get past Marsh. It's a scary prospect, just how much space and how much pace he's able to make up, even considering prior mistakes. Time is of the essence for many, but I don't think there need be worry, as there will be last chances for some. Yeah, but that didn't go as planned, I'll say. It's been up and down for many, particularly at the latter stage. It looks like we'll have 22 finishers after all. We have hemorrhaged a third of the grid by the end of this. A testament to the punishing nature of the green hell. And ooh, ouch! Okay, Marsh. Was there contact? Was there contact involved in that? I think we're going to have to take a bit of a replay and see exactly what happened. So this is Lindblom. So both of them running together. And ooh, just the tiniest bit of contact, but in these conditions that's all that's needed to set it off, and it looks like Lindblom has actually yielded off and returned the position. A good sportsmanship being shown there, as always. Great to see it from our drivers. Not the kind of overtake he wanted to make, and made that clear. And he's still to the back of Engdahl as we head into the final couple of minutes of the race for them. It's always interesting because in the Nordschleife you've got the end of the race and then you've got about 8.5 minutes of drivers just finishing their laps as well. You don't really get that sort of snappier turnaround because of the length of the circuit and just how large it is. But nonetheless, we will see the drivers continue to finish and fight. Hermes actually losing a bit of time. I wonder what's going on with him here. It seems like he's got a bit of a problem with just holding the speed. Coming up to the final straight, and it looks like he's not going to be within range. Yeah, he's pretty much out of range. Not going to be able to get that slipstream. He's not going to be able to attack. And with that, for real this time, we are going to see a winner be crowned. It's been a long, hard fight. But rising tall above it all is going to be Jimmy Engdahl up to the line. What a showing. The leader has finished the race. Hermé in a close second. As our drivers will now be making their way through. Peter Wolfslener surviving into third. And Colin McNair coming up in fourth position. Great driving from everyone here. Lindblom with a major surge into P5 from previous running. It looks like Lindblom did give a bit of a yield as Dave Marsh is going to claim P5 here from him in P6, taking him to himself with Lenatus close but not quite able to snatch away at P6. He's going to settle for 7th. There's going to be Damien Reed sliding his way through into the finish in P8. And P9 going to All-Star in the silver, Anthony Hebert. Around 30 seconds later, 30 seconds adrift, it is going to be none other than Paul Murray to round off our top 10 of finishers. And we will see everyone finish in roughly sequential order to boot. Going to be a smooth final shot and transition. Murray comes through in the number 90. Successfully holds onto P10. Hero is going to come across in P11, and then following that you have John Mitchell now making his way down the straight. So what a beautiful race this one has been. And we're just on board with Mitchell right now. But it has been an experience here tonight. Now, of course, you want to join us for the second half of the season. After our week's break, we are heading to Monza. So, from the Temple of Courage to the Temple of Speed, we'll be making our way. John Mitchell crosses the line into P12. Alex North into P13. And then Ostrachar's not far behind in P14 as well. Peter Smith just coming up to the final chicanes of his 7th lap. And closing out 15th position will be him. Robert Homer is going to come through as well into P16. Now closing their race campaign in style. Arscombe down the straight. Curious that we've got some drivers who are much further down the order. Looks like we've got Stuart Holmes practically at the start. Oh, actually saying that, never mind. That was a rough corner there. Looks like they're spinning the car. Not going to be a good turnout for him. Like it might be a return to pit lane scenario. Arscombe now coming through the final chicanes. And sweeping through into 17th position. John Gabbett following suit not long after. Across the line in P18, nicely done there. And then last couple of cars now emerge. P19 is going to go to Randy Zimmer, 20 to Roger Disfuquez, Guillemot in 21st, although still on the track, and then Kalame in 22nd. Stuart Holmes is going to be all the way down here at this section of the track. We'll eventually be bringing it home in 23rd. Zimmer now across. Number 141 Ferrari taking himself into P19. As Dismiquez is next to tackle the start-finish straight. Or the back straight, my mistake. Dismiquez coming through to P20 now. And that leaves us with 3 more cars. Guillermo, Colom and Holmes. Eventually making their way. I think we're going to just see things through. Seeing it through till the end. It's that time-old adage. In order to finish first you have to finish. And these drivers embody that. Bringing it home regardless of the situation, regardless of the race that they've had. It's got to be done. It's got to be brought home. It's got to be a finish worthy of their performances up to that point. It has been a long road, but eventually it's gonna come through. AMR P21 with Colom not much further behind. Fitting finish. Colom now coming to the end of the back straight. Into 22nd, and with that, finally, Stuart Holmes bringing the car home. Down the back straight and keeping it together. No time left on the clock for a while now, but still the resilience. It's what we were saying at the start. It is a major achievement to bring this car home. And there we are, folks. Well done to all drivers. Unfortunately, we did say goodbye to a few. We did lose out on many. We had a drop from 33 to 23 finishers. We had to say goodbye to Larson, Payton, Bull, Niesbet, Hamby, Whitehouse, Morrison, Trickett, Vischerek and Olsen. But that's where we wrap things up for tonight. So thank you, as always, for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'll see you in 2 weeks' time for Monza. For now, folks, good night, good evening, and we'll hopefully join us for the second half of the season, because it's going to get very, very interesting.
Three, two, go!